Welcome back to Luma and Air podcast, the space where spirit meets story and we grow through what we go through. This episode is for the woman who's been holding on to past versions of herself just to survive. It's for the woman who's ready to release old stories, old roles, and old weight, both emotional and spiritual, that no longer align with who she's becoming. True healing starts when we loosen our grip on who we had to be and give ourselves permission to walk fully in who we are becoming. Before we dive into today's message, you know what time it is. It's time for the chapter of the week. This week, we're reflecting on Acts 22, a powerful moment in Scripture where Paul defends his testimony in front of an angry crowd. He shares his story of transformation from prosecutor to prophet, from a man led by fear to one led by faith. Paul stands before his accusers and recounts the moment he encountered the divine on the road to Damascus. He speaks of blindness, revelation, and calling. He tells the truth, even when it cost him comfort. And he reminds us that your past does not disqualify you from your purpose. The themes in this chapter are the courage to speak your truth, the tension between who you were and who you're becoming, and lastly, God's power to redeem every chapter of your story. For this week's journal prompt, what truth are you being called to stand in, even if it's uncomfortable? Ask yourself, where am I being invited to share my story? Not for validation, but for impact. Acts 22 reminds us the version of you that once ran from the light is still worthy of walking in it now. And that leads us straight into today's episode. Last week, we talked about how you're not defined by what you've been through. But what happens when you know that truth and still feel tied to old stories? Becoming her and elevating to the life you've always dreamed of starts with letting go. And that's exactly where we're going today. Let me take you back. It was a regular afternoon. I had just picked up my brand new MacBook Pro M4 Pro. That's a mouthful. However, it was something I'd been dreaming about getting for years. I had a 10-year-old laptop that was standing on its last leg, and it had to be done. So when I purchased my MacBook Pro, it was just a symbol of where I saw myself going, creatively and professionally. I was excited that I was able to purchase it, but then it started to feel heavy. I started to feel more anxious. I didn't understand it. Why would stepping forward stir up fear? Then it hit me. This wasn't just about my laptop. This wasn't just about moving forward. This wasn't about being more professional, being more creative. It was about identity. In that moment, I was asking myself to grieve the woman I had to be to survive. And now it was time for me to make space for the woman I was becoming, I was evolving into. Letting go isn't always loud. Sometimes, actually most of the times, it's quiet. Sometimes it may look like grief in the middle of a blessing. Then I realized letting go is not weakness. It's sacred. It's strength, and it's spiritual. It's choosing not to be loyal to pain, patterns, or people that God never asked you to carry. It's surrender. And not surrendering in defeat, but surrender as devotion. Devotion to your healing, devotion to your evolution, devotion into becoming more happier with yourself, happier with your life. You may start to notice that you feel exhausted without knowing why. You might be stuck, anxious, or holding on to roles that once protected you. But now it's becoming abundantly clear that these same things that protected you are now limiting you. And that is your soul saying, you have now outgrown all of this. This doesn't happen all at once. Healing does take time, and it normally happens in layers. Slowly, but at the same time suddenly. Always with intention, though. In Judaism, Teshuvah is the process of return, the process of transformation. But to return to your truth, you must first release the false, the things that hold you back. In Christianity, the prophet Isaiah writes, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing." You can find that in Isaiah 43, 18 to 19. Letting go is the doorway to that new thing God has been doing in your life. That new thing you've been praying for. That new thing that's waiting for you to make space for it. Letting go also involves honoring the woman you used to be. The woman you used to be, she kept you alive. She kept you in survival. You had to survive every situation, every interaction, every experience that you went through. She kept you alive. She got you through some hard, dark chapters. That woman, she still deserves gratitude. Even in the messy parts, even the parts you've tried to hide. But that woman doesn't need to lead anymore. You are allowed to evolve without erasing who you once were. Letting go is not denial of the past. It's not denial of what you've been through. It's not denial of the good and the bad parts that you're growing from. It's an act of love. love for who you were, how they got you through everything you went through. And it's faith now in who you are becoming, the best version of yourself, the version that you've prayed to be, you've worked so hard to be. Remember, becoming is often uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, before it's beautiful. Sometimes we confuse healing with fixing. Fixing everything, fixing who you are, fixing how you think. But beloved, you're not broken. You're blooming. You are growing into who you are. You are walking into your purpose. You're not fixing. You're enhancing. You're evolving. You're upgrading. That is the true beauty of healing. When it comes to letting go is a form of faith as well. Letting go is trust in action. It's believing the next season will meet you with grace, love, and kindness. Now ask yourself this. What version of me have I outgrown? What am I afraid of when I truly let go? What will I be afraid of happening when I let go? And where am I being invited to trust the process, even when I can't see the whole picture yet? Don't fret. You don't have to have this all figured out. You just have to be willing to let go, to have faith. When you're letting go of people, places, things, habits that no longer serve you, that doesn't mean you failed. It now means you are ready to step in to the next season of your life. You're ready for softness. You're ready for wholeness. You're ready for the new you, your new life. Here's the closing reflection for this episode. You are not who you used to be. And that is something to celebrate. There's no shame in shedding. No shame in releasing roles that no longer fit. You're not losing yourself. You're returning to your true essence, the true beauty of who you are, the beautiful countenance that you hold inside of you, the virtuous woman that God made you to be, the healed version, the free version, the version of you that you deserve to see in the mirror. Hopefully this reaches who it needs to reach out there. I wish you all the happiness, the blessing, and the growth that you want in your life. If this episode moved you in any way, I would love to hear from you. You can DM me over on Instagram at Luma and Air. That's LumaAnDAIR. And please tell me, what are you ready to let go of? Is it a thought, a habit, a version of you that feels too small for where you're going? I'm all ears. And if this touched your spirit,